Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm here doing this, basically like an overview of what I just learned at the Mike Ferry Superstar Retreat. So this is the booklet that they handed us all out. It's actually amazing. I mean, I've actually participated in one Mike Ferry training in the past, and I did this about 8 years ago. And one of the takeaways that I took back then, which I implemented immediately, and it was just one of all the things that he talked about, was just listen, just sold calls. I bought a system called Cole Realty Resource back then, and I also got a triple line dialer, a Mojo, mojosales.com basically gives you a triple line dialer. And I actually went ahead and just applied that one thing, and I never even went back to any of the training. I just took some of the ideas that I got from there, implemented, and I got a ton of listings. That's how I built my business. After I stopped working with investors, I went all in on that, and I was able to be very hyper focused in the neighborhood where I wanted to list and sell homes. So interesting enough, that strategy is still in this book. The really cool thing about Mike Ferry is that, he's been doing this for 1975, so 45 plus years now. And the thing that really stands, I would say the test of time, right, is basically the skills and the professionalism, right? And there was a couple of things that he mentioned, so I wanted to kind of go over those things, especially right now, right? With all of the changes in the world, it's really necessary more than ever, because we could get away with, in the last 2 to 3 years, to just put a house on the market and then sell. That's it, right? Like it just sold, right? You didn't need to have any real skills other than just put it on the MLS and that's it, right? It wasn't really that difficult. Right now is when you're really going to have to increase your professionalism, your skills, mindset, and the things that he was talking about. One of the main things he said, it was about raising your standard, and raising your standard, because we could set extraordinary goals, and we may or may not hit those goals, but we will always live to our standards, right? So I want you to evaluate, your life and what you have currently, and then just reflect on what the standards are that you have for yourself, for your business, for your family, for your finances, for your relationships, everything that you have in your life. What is the standard, right? What are like the minimums that you're going to have that be? That's going to be basically your compass, right? When you have standards, that is your compass, right? When you're having conversations with customers, when you're having conversations in a relationship, or even with your own body, right? Like if you have a standard to have a physically fit body, then you're going to do certain actions because that's your standard, right? And I know that to be one of my standards. I know 100% of the time, as soon as some of my pants or shirts start to fit a little tight, because my standard is to be physically fit, I know that I got to decrease the food that I'm consuming. Excuse me, real second. 1 second. I was eating something. All right, there we go. So as soon as my body starts to feel a little off, right, I know that I'm like, okay, I got to decrease the food. I got to, increase my activity. So raise your standards. That was one of the things. And one of the things that also is, again, no matter what in real estate, you got to create and have extraordinary customer service. Extraordinary customer service. I mean, I'm talking about raving fans. And one of the speakers actually said that, if all I did was to sell your property and you're not a raving fan about my service, then I have failed you as your agent, and all I did was sell a property, right? And that's not what our objective is as real estate professionals. Our objective as a real estate professional is to create repeat and referral business. So how we do that is by having extraordinary customer service, not the ordinary. I'm talking about extraordinary, above and beyond, answering questions for customers that they don't even know to ask just yet. If you do an amazing job to prepare your customers when you're listing a home, when you're selling a home, any part of the process, if you go above and beyond and explain and prepare and answer their questions with your presentation prior to them asking, they're going to think about you as a world-class professional, and then that's going to create additional referral opportunities. A lot of the people that were on the stage today were saying that, 70, 80% of their business is coming from repeat and referral clients. So how do you do that? It's by having extraordinary customer service. Get away from the mindset of being transactional, because that's not going to get you anywhere. Setting goals, right? It's another one of the things that he talked about, setting goals and staying highly motivated. And again, if you have very big goals, and that's going to basically connect your high motivation, right? Because that's one of the reasons I tell people all the time, like, if you're not enthusiastic, if you're not jumping out of bed, if you're not excited every single day, it's probably because you have boring goals, very small goals. So you want to create very big, audacious goals, in my perspective, and that's going to lead to your motivation, because people, they're not going to gravitate to you. If they're going to think about a real estate professional, they're going to think about the first person that comes to mind. And how you stand yourself and how you set yourself apart is by your energy, right? You have an energy signature. So how are you going to set yourself apart as a professional? It's by really having great goals, having great energy, and you're going to uplift your customers, and they're going to remember you, right? You don't want to work with somebody that's, hey, I want to sell your house. I'm thinking about blah, 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 blah. Like, dude, you're going to lose a bunch of people. So you want to be excited. And again, your excitement, it's going to come from your passion to serve and your goals. So that was really good. And then writing out your business plan, like literally writing it out and reviewing it daily, right? That's another big nugget, because a lot of times when people write out a business plan, they write it out and then they forget and they don't ever look at it again. So make sure that you have a business plan, you write it out, you read it, and you write it every single day. That was a big one. The other thing is the skills, right? The skills right now. And he used a great analogy, by the way. He was talking about, if he asked the room, is anybody in here, have you guys ever played sports? A lot, like 90% of the room's hands went up. It's like, yeah, we played sports. So he then asked, I'm sure that you had a time frame on a daily basis where you dedicated that to practice. And then he asked, what happened if you didn't show up to practice? And what happened from there is that obviously you don't get to play the game. And, usually practice was an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. So and then, by the way, when we were playing that sport, we were doing it for free, right? Because I was doing it for free. I was playing basketball and I didn't get paid anything for that. So you're in real estate, right? We have an opportunity to earn a significant amount of commissions here. So the goal is that, and the objective is why don't we practice daily, right? Like, we are getting paid a significant amount of money. Our customers expect us to be skilled and professional. You really want to spend some time doing that. Refine your skills. That way, when your customers, again, think about a real estate professional, they're contacting you. Set up some time. Is it 30 minutes? Is it an hour? I heard a gal that said she spent 2 hours every morning practicing, writing out her scripts, role playing. And the objective really of the script is to internalize it. You don't want to sound robotic. You're going to bring your personality to the script. The script is basically going to create a structure for you to be able to handle an objective, which most of the time it's going to be an appointment, right? Like, you are spending and investing your time away from your family to create income. So spend the time to practice. That way, when you are actually on the phone with a prospect, you sound professional, competent, energetic. Those things are going to attract you new customers. So spend some time doing that. The other thing is you got to measure your contacts. And I run a very simple process. I run a 2-10-40. You don't have to do that, obviously. And what 2-10-40 means is it's 2 appointments a day, 10 appointments a week, 40 appointments a month. Whatever your goals are, even if you just said, you know what, I am not going home without setting up at least one appointment. If you just did that every single day, that means that you were going to have north of 250 appointments a year. If you closed 1% of that, that means 25 transactions. Multiply that times your average commission, right? Let's just say it's 10 grand. That's $250,000 right there for one appointment a day. Treat your business like a real profession. and measure your measure your score. You would never watch a game, like whatever sport you want to talk about. You would never watch a game if you were just watching two teams throwing and dribbling the ball, kicking the ball, playing hockey. If what would happen if nobody was keeping score? It would take all the fun away, right? You wouldn't even watch it. You wouldn't be entertained because there is something to look forward to. So you want to measure your numbers every single day. How many appointments are you setting? How many conversations are you having? How many listing appointments are you going on? How many buyer appointments? And you'll start to measure those metrics because that's going to start to show you where you need to enhance, focus a little bit more, and brush up your skills. He also talked about having a mindset break. I think this is really key. We speak with a bunch of people that are not in the most positive state, right? Like if we look at humanity or human beings, right? Typically, they're not in a positive mental state. A lot of them are just negative naturally, right? So in order to be positive, we got to practice being positive. And how we do that is by feeding our minds. He recommends that, we spend 2 to 3 times out of the day for at least 10 minutes and break away and feed your mind and recharge, because you're going to need to be on point when you show up to the customer, whether it's a call to an appointment. You need to have that confidence and that energy. And if you're not feeding yourself, then you're not going to be able to make a difference for anybody. So the first person that you want to make sure you're serving is to serve yourself. So spend some time, 10 minutes, watch a motivational video, read a book, do something that's going to feed your mind. Because right now, with the shifting market, mindset is the most important thing. Let me see, what else do I have here that's something that stood out for me. Events was another one. Stay plugged into events, live events, and surround yourself with people that are doing the things you want to do. Collaborate, create masterminds, plug in. That's going to help you to remember what it is that you're supposed to do, and it's also going to keep you focused. The world is getting more and more distracting because of the devices, right? We have so many ways that we're distracted every single day. Therefore, you need to stay focused on your dreams and goals, and you need to plug into environments where you are plugging into people and teachings that are getting you to your finish line, like where it is that you want to go. 4 keys to measure. This was another really big one. 4 keys to measuring your business, right? Especially if you have staff. 4 keys: focus, leverage, engagement, and accountability. And accountability is a huge one. Tell people your goals, right? Tell people your goals, because the more people you tell, the more accountability you have for yourself, and the more that you are going to accomplish your goals. Because if you just keep it to yourself, share it with nobody, there's no accountability there. So make sure you share it at least with one person. And that's it, guys. That's what I got for day 1. Thank you so much for listening to this video. I would love to hear what your feedback is or any nuggets. And the biggest thing about any of these events or whatever you learn is the implementation. So if you got one thing, implement it, apply it every single day, stay connected to this community, and let's grow.